G'day there, it's Anthony from Mower Lawns and Gardens. One of the key factors to operating a gardening business successfully is reliability. And when using power equipment, regular maintenance and daily checks are high priority. Your daily checks are going to identify whether a machine needs servicing or there's any repairs to be done. And we prefer to do these of a morning when we're fresh as opposed to the afternoon when we're worn out. Typically it's the mower, blower and Brushcutter that are the machines we predominantly use on a daily basis, and it doesn't matter whether we are doing one or whether we've got 20 lawns booked for that day. Each morning our checks are done. This prevents obviously any service issues that we may have in the field or embarrassing situations with breakdowns that might happen in front of customers. If you enjoy this content, please feel free to like, subscribe and leave any comments below. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with the mower, and the first thing we're going to do is a blade check. Before we do any sort of checks on the mower, we just want to make sure that the spark plug lead has been taken off so it doesn't start. We'll lean over and just quickly inspect the blades. I've got 4 lift blades on this. Everything looks okay. Those blades are going to do probably another week thereabouts. They're only just starting to thin out. So blades are okay for the day. That'll get us through a dozen lawns. Mower back. Plug back on. The next thing we want to do is check that our handle is firm and that the bolts that secure the handle are also done up tight. Due to the direction of a single cylinder engine, we found that the bolt on the left hand side of the handle is the one that comes undone the most. It requires tensioning each day. So we just ensure that that handle is firm. The next thing we need to do in a clockwise direction is start with the fuel. Before refueling any item, we want to identify whether it's 2-stroke or just straight fuel. The Honda mower is a 4-stroke machine, and as written on the side here and indicated on the cap, it takes straight fuel only. To further indicate what sort of machine it is, we look for the sump. If we have a dipstick, then it suggests that the machine has a sump and is therefore a 4-stroke machine. Now, the difference in the caps from a 2-stroke machine is that on the 4-stroke mower we have an indication here that it's fuel only. On the 2-stroke machine, and this is off one of the brush cutters, we can see it has plus oil, and a machine with this fuel cap on it would require a 2-stroke mix. We prefer to refuel with 98 grade fuel, and we find the premium fuels operate best in these machines. So I'm going to take the cap off now and refuel it with 98 fuel. When fueling up, we prefer to use a hard surface. Do not fuel up on a customer's lawn for obvious reasons. No matter how hard you try when you're fueling up, almost always you will spill a small amount of fuel when removing it from the fuel tank. So we use a speed spout on our fuel containers, which allows us just to pop them on there, push down, the fuel will then make its way into the fuel tank. Keep an eye on it as you see it come to the top. It's getting close to now. We just release the speed spout, shake it, and we minimise any sort of fuel that may spill. So that's our fuel now checked, ready to go. The next thing we want to move to is the filter. Okay, so still moving in a clockwise direction after fueling up, we're going to take the cover off the air filter, and on the Hondas it's just 2 wing nuts. Remove that cover and set it there. Now you can identify fairly quickly that this filter needs to be cleaned out. Now this was only after a day of use on lawns that were slightly drier than average. So when we head into drier conditions, we tend to pick up more dust and more lawn waste, and it's accumulated on the outside of the filter. This is why we check and clean our filters daily. If this was to continue another day and build up the same amount of dust and lawn clippings, then we would end up with a machine that would be running very rich. Hence the daily checks. So we're going to remove this filter now, and I'll show you how we clean it out with compressed air. We use an AEG electric compressor when we're cleaning our air filters or any general cleaning of equipment and maintenance. If you don't have a compressor, and understanding a lot of people don't, you can also use a can of WD-40 air duster. It works very similar. It's just a can of compressed air, and you compare it to compressed air from a compressor. It is very similar. You can keep this in your toolbox or in your trailer. It's handy if you get a dusty filter in dry conditions as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll clean our filter out now. The filters on the Hondas have an outer filter and an inner filter. So the first thing we want to do is remove the outer filter, and the job of it is to protect the element inside the main filter. It's done its job, it's collected the majority of the dust. If you can stretch it around your hand, then what we want to do is we want to blow from the inside of the filter out with the compressed air, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I'll just point it away from myself. Okay, so that's clean with the dust that we would have collected from yesterday. There will be another video that I'll put the link in the description below on how to clean filters with fuel, etc. So they're more detailed clean that you can do, and we suggest you do these cleans probably every couple of months in very busy conditions. So that's the outer filter clean. Now we want to clean the main filter. Again, it's from the inside out that we want to blow. You can see the dust that's coming out of it. The outer filter has done its job, but this will still ingest dust. Okay, so that's both the main filter and the outer filter. That's clean. We'll put them back together. Slide it back over the top. Now, some people will smear oil over these, and they will actually come from Honda with a light smear of oil over them. You can choose to do that. Be aware that if you're going to put oil around the filter, then when you do clean it, you're going to need to clean it in fuel each time. We don't put oil around our filters, we just clean our filters daily, and the process of cleaning a filter daily eliminates any dust build up, that of which the oil smear would do as well. So we don't use oil for that particular reason, but it's only because we are blowing and cleaning our filters out daily. So we're going to install this back into the machine now. Okay, clean filter, we're now going to install it back into the holder. Just before we put the cover on, quick blow around this area. Often it will get a small amount of dust. Sometimes it's more convenient to clean it out before you take the filter out, but there wasn't a lot in there. It's better to clean it out while the filter's in there so that we don't get any dust or dirt or grass clippings go into the actual carburetor. Now we can put the cover back on, do the nuts up. While we're on this side and we've got the compressed air here, it's a good idea just to give it a bit of a blow underneath to ensure there's been nothing built up around any of the throttle cables or levers. Blades, fuel, filter done. Now we're just going to walk around the machine. While we're walking around, we're just checking that everything is firmly fit. Sometimes the exhaust may come loose. It's an item that gets hot and cold, contracts and expands. It's held in with two 10mm bolts. So if it does come loose, it's just a matter of reaching into the socket and just tightening them up. Only firm though, not over tighten. Everything's tight there. Wheels are obviously firm at the same time. Adjuster, and now we want to check our oil. We'll just take the oil dipstick out. So we're going to clean it, we're going to dip it, and we're going to check, and we can see very clearly the oil is at the correct level. And we're just going to do a wipe on the fingers to look at the colour of the oil. The colour has not discoloured too much. You'll be able to compare that to the chart that we'll put up here for you. And you can see that it's going to go a little while before we actually have to do a oil change. So our machine is ready to go. Put the oil cap back in. And now we'll just check out our two-stroke items, the brush cutter and the blower. Okay, we're going to prepare the blower now. The blower is a two-stroke item. You can identify the difference between a four-stroke and a two-stroke item. A four-stroke machine will have a sump with oil in it. The two-stroke machine, on the petrol cap in particular, if we can zoom in here, you will identify that it shows fuel and oil. And this is your two-stroke mix. Now there's a separate video that we'll also include in the content below on how to mix fuel and how to prepare two-stroke fuel. So we're going to top the fuel up first. This is our two-stroke fuel. You'll notice it's a different container to the fuel that we used in the mower. When holding the fuel, we hold it underneath so that we've firmly got a hold of it, and the nozzle. This gives us good control over it. Okay, so that's the blower now fueled up. There's only a couple of items really that we have to check on the blower. It's the fuel And because the blower is actually held high away from the dust, we often only check the filters every 2 or 3 days. The filters are not prone to collecting dust. They have an element filter in them, which is quite a good filter. So we can take it out and we can see, even after using this for some time, it's not overly necessary to blow it out, but I will show you how we clean that now. So again, with compressed air, we want to blow from the inside of the filter out. A quick blow over the top of the filter. Okay, not a lot of dust that comes out of these. As I said, the filters don't collect a lot of dust because of their position. They're held high away from the ground. Put the cover back on, screw it up the back. And then while we've got the machine, before we put it in the trailer ready to take to work, we just want to run our wire over it, check everything's in place, the throttle's working, ready to start, and the machine's ready to go. Okay, third item's our brush cutter. It's another 2-stroke machine, similar to the blower. It's just a couple of items that we check on a daily basis. One is the filter. I mentioned with the blower, not necessary to check these daily because they are actually held high. And you can see the filter is actually quite clean. It's just starting to brown off. Again, I'll go through in a more detailed video. I'll leave a link below on how to thoroughly clean filters. But daily cleaning, we just blow it from the inside out. So that's our filter clean. Put it back on. When we clean the filters, it's a good idea just to inspect around the intake to the carburetor, just to ensure that everything is clean inside there as well. Okay, our filter's clean. Next thing I'll do is just top our fuel up. Now again, to identify, you can see this mentions that it's fuel and it has a oil drop to suggest that it is a 2-stroke mix of fuel and oil. So we hold the bottom of the fuel container and the top of it, bring it over. Okay, so that's our brush cutter now ready to go. So we just general checks over it again, make sure the spark plug's plugged in, everything's firm, nothing's loose, all bolts are tidied, the throttle and everything operates fine. We'll restring the head before we go. There is a separate video on how to restring the brush cutter head, which I'll leave in the links below, and the brush cutter now is ready to roll. So that's our daily checks done, and hopefully now you can see the importance of doing the checks on the power equipment daily. Once a week just isn't sufficient, and you can see from the air filter in the mower, after just 1 day of use in slightly drier than average conditions, the dust and the grass build up. This ultimately would have led to the machine running rich and fouling up the plug, most likely misfiring or not even starting at all. The machines are now ready with fuel, air filter's clean, we've checked our oil, and we will have a reliable day. If there was any area there that you wanted to refer to for additional servicing, such as oil changes, blade changes, or even cleaning our filters, please refer to our service section, which you can find on this channel. Thank you again. Please like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment.